Hello guys and welcome to this video about Le Mans Ultimate. Guys, we are in the mid of November and it has been a little bit of time since the last update where the co-op mode has dropped on the Le Mans Ultimate live branch. And guys, I'm curious, we have tested the co-op mode a little bit. We have done a couple of videos, had a little bit of a stream on it as well. We've seen the AI doing interesting things that probably has to do with my own settings. But anyway, what I would like to know from you guys is, what do you think about the addition of the Le Mans Ultimate co-op mode as we're moving along in the early access phase of Le Mans Ultimate towards the version 1.0 that is ultimately hopefully going to be hitting us soon. So, let me know down in the comments area below, guys, what is your thoughts and takes from that co-op mode. And now we head into a little bit of an out-view towards the future. So Le Mans Ultimate is obviously still in development. We have received the video that is taking us a little bit through the roadmap for the coming month, and we're going to have a look at it step by step.
It's worth noting that for now the 2024 season features GTE cars instead of the GT3s. We'll progressively replace those with the first cars of that category, expected at the end of this year.
So obviously the first big thing that is going to hit us in Le Mans Ultimate after the last update are GT3 cars. In that little short video we have saw a glimpse of what I think is a Ferrari 296 GT3, and I think the other car was a Corvette C8 GT3. So we see there is progress happening. They have mentioned it to be released towards the end of the year, hopefully. In the meanwhile, we have received another few impressions and other goodies that we're going to have a look right now. So with that video being released already 2 weeks ago, I think, despite this video is just produced right now towards the end of November, there is an indication. I think the first car was pretty clearly a BMW M4 GT3. I'm not sure about the second car, whether that was the McLaren 720S or the Corvette C8 GT3. Maybe you guys know. Put it down in the comments area below as well. Let me know on your takes on the GT3 cars. However, what is confirmed is that we saw a certain real race driver and an astonishingly fast sim racer, James Baldwin, testing the GT3 McLaren cars as we have seen in his stories. So there is stuff happening on the back end of Le Mans Ultimate, and we're now further exploring what else is about to come in hopefully one of the next updates. But before we check out the news, guys, as usual, give this video a like if you appreciate the video, subscribe us on the YouTube channel, and ring the bell for more news videos.
What's next? We're working on private servers with our friends at SimGrid. Soon you'll be able to host your own server through their site or racecontrol.gg, which in time is intended to become a destination for all of your Studio 397 news, as well as interacting with your race results, schedules and more. With this, we're really looking forward to seeing leagues start up on the sim, so we'll also be delivering a broadcast overlay alongside this to support those communities that want to capture and share their racing live. I can't give you a super accurate time estimate, but it is likely to be available before the end of the year.
So private servers on the Race Control GG portal, and that, guys, is going to be a huge game changer for Le Mans Ultimate, because ultimately, first of all, and I had a lot of people asking this, whether I'm offering coaching for Le Mans Ultimate. Yes, I do. However, up to date, I cannot deliver the coaching in the way that I intended, being solely with the student in the server, having just a one-on-one call, having the entire track for hours, not for hours, but for ourselves, and working most effectively on the coaching itself. So obviously private service and the host of that is finally enabling for that business. But my personal business aside, for the community, it is going to be a huge improvement, because we can race with our friends, but more importantly, I think it is the time where leagues would consider coming over saying, we've done all that endurance stuff on our Factor 2 for years, let's now go towards Le Mans Ultimate with custom servers and all that kind of setup, which is missing driver swaps at this stage. So ultimately, perhaps only sprint series is possible. What I think is amazing though is that not only servers are coming with, there's also going to be a broadcaster tool, broadcast overlays. We see this as work in progress, as we've seen on the clip, but ultimately that means there is progress towards leagues, towards community, towards personalization and everything. So I think that is a great signal towards everyone that is still on the fence, saying like, unless I can do league racing, I'm not going to join this. It's also a great signal towards the leagues being like, we are aware the game might not be 100% finished, but we try and get it ready for you so you can use it in your environment, have your league out, populate the game itself, which is like, we need to lure in the players for sure. We need to have a good product. We need to have an appealing ecosystem that people want to race and spend time with. And I think custom servers, a broadcast overlay, also like maybe a centralized platform, as the racecontrol.gg is being called, could be a way to go there. So that is, I think, something really, really great that we can look for. But as you can imagine, there is more stuff coming.
Online championships is a feature we're actively developing. This will allow racers to participate in a series of connected races for championship glory. The purpose is to increase the meaning of some online races. Daily races will continue to be available for more casual pickup races. When signing up for a championship, you must select a car that you'll stick with for the entire season. For each round, you'll be given a number of attempts to score points. For the more advanced championships, you'll only get one shot. Rank impact will be increased in these races, and in future, the championships are intended to be used to qualify for esports competitions such as the 24 Hours of Le Mans Virtual.
So that obviously is also a significant change to the system as we all know it. For right now, we got those daily races, the WEC weekly specials or the special events, where let's say we only got like a combination of 2 or 3 car track combos to race with for an entire week. Personally, I'm absolutely fine with this, since right now I only have the time to do 1 or 2 or 3 races a week, and I rather want to have longer races with a little bit more action, a little bit more story inside than just a 20-minute sprint, which could be appealing as well from a content point of view. However, the feedback from the community, and maybe also I would like to have your take on it, let me know down in the comments area below as well. The daily races, whether that is beginner, intermediate, advanced, the weeklies, are you happy with that amount? Are you fully integrated, like, yeah, I can go on for weeks, a month, to always race different cars around the same amount of tracks and all the time? Because I think here is where we have a little bit of a copy from iRacing, if we're entirely honest. Championships where you can have 2 or 3 runs during a week, gathering some points. It is not like iRacing though, where you can do it week in, week out, like the entirety of the week. Sometimes you have 2 or 3 occasions. Sometimes you have only 1 single shot, which I think is interesting. I'm not sure yet how we're looking forward to those championships being used for the selection of esport. I may have the concern for someone that is just coming into the ecosystem that is brutally fast, extremely safe, and so on, just because of his driver rank at the beginning, might be in lower splits, therefore getting lower points. Like, whenever such a system is coming out, how do you like reward drivers in the top split competing against the best of each other, and at the same time drivers that are dominating lower splits, how to still favor their performance compared to the guys in the top split, while at the same time obviously not overweighing this. So a guy that is like dominating the lower series, like with a Smurf account or whatever, although a Smurf might not be feasible according to the end user agreement, but you know, there will be people that were just coming new into the system, want to push for that championship. Is it like on iRacing, where you don't have a chance unless you are already up in the top level of driver ranks? Or will there be the danger of someone abusing lower splits? Like, you know, I could sign up for 20 races in a row, not racing a single one of them, and I find myself back with a DR, back to bronze, silver, and then have an easy time winning the races. So that is a little bit of a concern to me, and I know the video is now getting quite long, philosophing about some parts, but I think those changes, that future bits and pieces of the game, they are highly applicable and very appealing. I'm looking forward to run a championship over 6, 8 or 10 weeks and then say, yeah, we had 10 different races, we had one car picking it for every week, and we've won the championship or whatever. I'm looking forward to do those races, as you can start doing some storytelling about it and so on. So there is possibilities. Again, whether it is the right way to go to use that for a qualifying of an esports series, that is a different topic. But that also might or may happen, may not happen. There may be different qualifiers for whatever series. So we need to see how that goes in time. Right, that's it about my take on championships. Don't get me wrong, I will look forward to see championships dropping. But again, this is not the end of the news. I think there is one more topic at least to cover.
This feature is intended to be available for subscribers, which will fund the increased server usage and also stewarding of racing incidents in these events. Don't worry, do not panic, this is not going to become a subscriber-only game, but there are major uplifts to the experience that do require further investment. It's up to us to make this a valuable option for those that want to further support Studio 397 and get more from the LMU experience.
So here we go, subscriptions. Subscription service to further fund the costs, the development, maybe some goodies. I can imagine you'd get some interesting bits and benefits from running a subscription. We do not know how much value that will be on a monthly basis or whether it will be on a yearly basis, or generally speaking, what is the extra cost, what's the extra benefits. I expect as soon as we know something about that, Studio 397 MSG will note us on those. But it gives a little bit of an interesting insight, and here we have to consider the overall situation MSG finds themselves in. We've seen the Q3 business report with a bit of petty cash going out of the company, with cost-cutting exercises to be going forwards, with talks and selling deals trying to be made in order to fund the future of Le Mans Ultimate, of Studio 397 effectively. They are in need for money. We know that. They are in need for funds to operate the business. I've done multiple calls out on that we should have that in mind, that this entire project could fail at some point because of funds. At the same time, I really encourage you guys that this should not limit us in enjoying the game. It won't limit me. So whenever I think the subscription model is absolutely worth it, I'm gonna go for it. If I don't find enough benefits for myself, I'd likely leave it. But that is up to them to get this right, and we're gonna see how this pans out. Anyway, subscription. I will hear many people saying, now they are really trying to lure the money out of us. We don't even have a version 1.0 and all those kind of concerns. We don't even have the GT3 cars yet. Well, likely we get them with the same update, I would assume. Yeah, I hear you, but at the end of the day, I think it is... And you know, here is what I think. Like, we need to also support the team keeping going as we speak. So I will not thrash down a subscription option right now. Additionally, I do believe in the modern gaming industry, and I'm not talking about Le Mans Ultimate right now. Look at iRacing. iRacing is subscription-based service only. There is no chance to get a base game whatsoever. And many other games, whether that is some football games or some, I don't know, shooter games or whatever, they all kind of seem to be moving forward with that subscription stuff. Some may just call it an additional add-on, whatever, and you get some in-game currency values. I think there is a massive trend selling a base game, putting paid content as a DLC on top of it, or paid goodies and benefits as a monthly DLC or as a monthly subscription. I think it is just a game and branch industry thing in the modern world to keep the gaming, the developers' funds going the right direction. Because, let's face it, developing games is extremely expensive, and especially when we're in an in the racing niche, iRacing, RF2, ACC, AC Evo, AMS2, Rennsport, the amount of income on a regular basis from selling the copies is very, very slim. And that's only one-time effect. So those companies need to find ways to generate money. And from that point of view, unless it is totally overvalued, let's say, if I would look at it, I would not go paying more than 15 euros a month, let's say. We hope, of course, it will be much lower than that because, yeah, you know, 15 euros per month is insanely high. But I think it might be necessary. I think it might be a general trend moving forwards. And from that point of view, if I get something in benefit again, maybe just throwing out random ideas, you could have a reduction of prices when hosting servers and stuff like that. You know, there's all benefits, and then everyone can make up a calculation from when it's actually cheaper to go into a sub model and then use it excessively to create an own value or like an added value for yourself. Yeah, right. Enough about the subscription model. Of course, again, I would love to have you guys' opinion on it. And now we're moving on to a topic that VR users will be particularly interested in.
Virtual reality. Development is still happening behind the scenes. It's still not in a full release state, but for those of you that actively use the hidden option, we have included a number of improvements for you to trial. Remember the netcode improvements we made in June? They've been performing well in public and allowing us to progress with one of the next great technical and user experience challenges, driver swaps and teams. More on that when we can, but it's likely to be early next year when we have a version that's available for the public.
So, virtual reality users will be particularly interested in that update, and personally, I cannot say too much towards VR because I don't have VR goggles at home. I hardly have ever used it. I'm not the biggest fan of it, but I know that the community itself is like a massive fan out of it, and at some point we might even try using VR experience also from a streaming point of view, but more on that maybe in a couple of months or years as we're moving along with our current setup. It is a sad story that it takes so long to get virtual reality support up, especially since a lot of people are really running into like track IR at the very least, or, and most importantly, like full VR goggles. It's obviously great to see that one can use a hidden option, so it is actually kind of working in some way. But of course, it must not be the ambition of a game developer to like have some hidden options and like, yeah, this is like the least that we can use it and afford it for now, and like just deal with it. So I'm really hoping to see a lot of progress there for a lot of VR users that are surely still sitting on the fence. However, there was something else mentioned, which was driver swaps. Something that I mentioned before might be needs to be a thing for Endurance League championships, or for Endurance League organizers, of course. I hope that they will bring this up very soon indeed, because if I may add some criticism here, I cannot understand, on a game that is majorly based on an R-Factor 2 code, it may have a buggy driver swap, but it had a generally functioning driver swap when done correctly. How this has taken more than 9 months, and if we include the overall development time of the game, over 18 months to get it into the game, that is a bit of a sad story. I think, personally, from looking at it, I would assume getting a co-op mode with a shifted save game into the game should have been much more difficult, as I assume that all this code for that needs to be written from scratch. I appreciate that there is a new netcode. I appreciate that those changes may also affect how driver swaps and stuff is working. But for it to take that long, though, is something where, like, as an enthusiastic user of R-Factor 2 and Le Mans Ultimate, I'm shaking my head about a little bit. So yeah, you know, I'm defending MSG wherever I can. I love Le Mans Ultimate, I love R-Factor 2. I keep defending Studio 397 as much as I can, but that is really some point where I cannot defend you guys. Like, a lot of people are really, like, this is an endurance race. Endurance race is all about doing those 4, 6, 8, 12, 24-hour races in a pair of 2, 3, or 4, maybe even 5 drivers. And right now we're basically sprint racing, and arguably, and I understand everyone that is saying a 2.4 hour of Le Mans with a 10-time accelerated environmental time is kind of fun, but freaking long. I agree with everyone, like, especially when you're driving a car that's really on the edge. To drive for 2.5 hours straight is a big deal, and is nothing, like, you know, from a 2 or 2.5 hour race, I consider there would be people that would love to split it up in 2 drivers, maybe even 3 drivers, everyone doing 40 minutes, let's say, or 45 or 50. And Le Mans Ultimate is all about that endurance team racing, so it is a huge disappointment from my point of view that we're still waiting on that feature. So please fix this. And that, guys, takes us to the end. Hope you have enjoyed the content. Hope you have enjoyed the video. I'm sorry that it got too long this time, but I'm pretty sure you guys can agree that there was much to say about this. On to the next one, guys. Thank you for watching. See you, and bye-bye.